1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody, this is Spiritual Stud.
And I am MT, baby.
We want to welcome you to the most recent episode of Just My Opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we're going to talk about violence toward those in the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to talk about some church hurt or reasons why people don't go to church. You know, church. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do a little bit of the shock report. So, where shall we begin?
I don't know.
Let's start with the shock report. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So, I was watching something on my Facebook page, and this popped up. This little tidbit about a 15-year-old boy who says Jay-Z doesn't speak for all black people. So, of course, my interest was piqued. So I listened to what he had to say. Well, first let's clear this up. Jay-Z does not speak for all black people.
That's true.
Because a lot of people might not like Jay-Z and, you know, what he stands for, how he got his money, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is a 15-year-old African-American young man. And one of the things that he said, Trump, this man is wonderful. He's doing things for the black community. He's doing things for everybody. Doesn't matter their shade. Well, yes, it does, son. Let me step back. This was put on this Facebook page called The Declaration Presents. And it's an offshoot of the Independent Journal Review, which is supposed to be some kind of social media news organization. They're trying to make themselves to be, you know, what's the word? Let me read it here. They want to be taken seriously as a news outlet. They're very conservative. And when I saw the declaration, then of course I figured that's what it was. But I'm like, let me look it up. Let me see what it's about. And basically, it's not that. The guy who came up with it, he's conservative, but he doesn't have a lot to say. So he brings in stuff from this conservative page, or, you know, he brings that in onto the page as their message. Mm-hmm. So basically, he's taking from somewhere else to get all of his followers. I mean, he has over 500,000 followers on this page. So we know that there's a lot of conservative people. And so when you put a 15-year-old black teenage boy on the screen saying Jay-Z doesn't speak for all black people, you know, that's one of the things that's going to capture people's attention.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing that really got me was he was saying how Jay-Z has so much money that he can't relate. Well, let me explain this to you, young man. So does Donald Trump.
Exactly.
But Donald Trump has been in position where he has made it impossible for people to rent in his buildings. Suits were bought against him because he didn't want black people in his buildings. So he does not care about every shade. You know what I'm saying? He does not care. He does not give a good guy about every shade. Somebody needs to sit your black behind down and talk to you. Because the truth of the matter is Donald Trump does not care about you, young man. Look up Central Park 5 and see what he wanted done to them. Big full-page ad. We need to put them under. They need to be killed. Come on. And they didn't even do it. And he still went after them. Even after they were cleared. He still went after them. No, son, he doesn't care. You might not believe that Jay-Z cares or even knows that Jay-Z's forgotten where he came from, but he has not. Why do you think the music is still relatable? He's always in his music tries to tell people, this is where I came from, this is where I am. You can get there if you work hard. Even if you don't believe rap music is a way to get there, he worked hard at it. It wasn't given to him.
That's right.
Beyonce worked hard. Wasn't given to her. See, what people fail to realize is that these people who are actors and singers and dancers, it's years in the making.
That's right.
Years in the making. People who write books, I'm telling you now, years in the making for them to get to where they are. So never think that they don't remember where they came from. It's I hate to see this. Now, Diamond and Silk stupid. Stupid.
Yes.
They're misrepresentations of who we are. But they're the kinds that make white people feel okay.
Yeah.
Understand? But you are a young black man who have a lot of things that you need to watch out for. And I'm not saying that you support Donald Trump, support him, but please don't ever think, don't get that misunderstood that he cares about us, because he really doesn't.
No.
As his son said, the only color he cares about is green. But out of his own mouth, let me ask you this. He's come against Jay-Z. He's come against Colin. He's come against all the black players. Has he said one thing about what Eminem said? Think on these things, son. Think on these things. Be clear in your understanding. Because Jay-Z is a multi-millionaire, billionaire does not mean that he does not remember where he came from, because trust and believe, I'm not where I used to be, but I sure do remember where I used to be. And I might not be a multi-millionaire, but I'm not where I was. I don't have holes in my house floor. I don't have rats running around. I can take a shower. These are things that I grew up not having. Cars breaking down, raggedy, just embarrassed. Stepfather. Let's not go there. But I remember I'm not there anymore. But I remember why? Because these things in our heads, our computers record everything. And every now and then, you can just be sitting chilling. That recorder, bam, and you were back there. So trust and believe, he has not forgotten.
No.
And he understands that everybody doesn't have the money he does. But what he said was, treat people like human beings. See, that's where you're off. Because it's not about the money. It's about how Trump treats us. And he has disdain for us. When he said blacks, that should have been a clue. Blacks, what have you got to lose by choosing me?
Right.
We got everything to lose, Trump. Because one thing, our ancestors are from the S-hole countries that you don't like.
Right.
You want people here from Norway. So young man, when you think about this, think about why somebody would say, why can't we get people from Norway? Who's in Norway, young man? It's not us.
Right.
It's not us. But also remember, Norwegians have no reason to come to this country. Because at the end of the day, they can look at this country, who you have to pay for your education. You have to pay for your health care. You know, you're forced. People try to force a religion on you. So understand this. This would be an S-hole country to a Norwegian. They don't want to come here. They got it all. Just saying. I'm done. You got anything?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a lot. The poverty forces you to look at life in a different way.
Yeah.
Apologies to all my listeners. We're recording at my house, and my wonderful pet has decided she's lost her entire mind. So she wants in the podcast, I guess. So she's over here staring at me and making noise. So if it translates into the podcast, my apologies for my child. My fur baby is crazy. Okay. Had to put that in there.
Okay.
In case I got to dip off right quick. She's nuts. So poverty will put you into a situation that'll make you question everything about your life. And that's what rich people don't get. It's like Paul Ryan had this comment he's been getting a whole lot of flack about, when this teacher said that this $1.50 more that she's going to get an hour, that pays for her Costco memberships for a year. And he was touting that like, look what this inflation's doing. She could pay for her Costco membership. That just further shows
no clue
how out of touch some people are with realities when you make money.
Right.
Now, see, the difference between Jay-Z and Donald Trump is Jay-Z came from the projects.
Yep.
He actually worked for what he has.
Right.
Trump got a loan from his daddy.
Yeah.
He didn't work for that. He asked for it,
Mhm.
and he was given it. And ever since then, he's been making and breaking deals all over this country and other countries
Right.
based upon a trickle down of money that was given to him from his father.
Right.
There's a difference in ethics.
Yeah.
When you live in poverty, trust me, because like we know, we've been there. When you're in poverty, you'll start questioning all kinds of stuff. Because guess what? The rents do, the lights do, the gases do, the waters do, your car payments do, your car insurances do.
Yeah.
You only got half the money for all them bills. And you start thinking about, where can I come up with an extra $100 and something
Right.
dollars?
Exactly. What can I do?
It'll make you question your whole morality of what you need to do to get that money to feed your family, to keep
Right.
your house warm. It's cold outside, so poverty has its own mindset.
Right.
And the what they were talking about is this unemployment.
Uh-huh.
Now black unemployment is better than it ever has been under Trump.
Uh-huh.
First of all, they always fail to mention that Obama set us up for that.
Right.
He ain't even been in office in a year. And has he done anything to help the unemployment numbers for African American people? No, he hasn't. He went to a couple of businesses that are now half of them transporting their jobs out of the country.
Right. Right.
Okay? So he didn't help none of those companies that he said he was. Remember, he was down in some place and that was even controversy about him going down there and the jobs numbers and Boeing airline and all this other kind of stuff, meeting with all these business people and Walmart going to give people more money.
And
Great.
yeah,
That's
Indiana,
great.
Indiana, I think it was Carrier.
Yeah, Carrier.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I said, what they don't tell you is on the back end of that, we're losing jobs too. Some of these companies
Uh-huh.
are not only sending jobs to other countries, they're also cutting jobs.
Yep.
So yes, we are on the uphill climb slowly. I understand that. And yes, by way of through your second cousin's mother's brother's uncle, you may get a job. But that does not keep you out of poverty.
Right.
That mindset that has you locked in to a place where you still, $1.50 an hour a week or whatever they're trying to give you, is that going to still make up the difference? Is that truly going to help you? I want our listeners especially to be cautious, because I studied in psychology the mindset of poverty, and it is a powerful, powerful thing to know that your livelihood, your survival depends on finances.
Yeah.
And to not be able to meet that bar. And every day, like Cat Williams, every day I'm hustling.
That's right.
You out here grinding every day because you need money every day just to make sure you got food that day.
Right.
I get it. I get it. We get it. We understand. But do not be deceived when your little check this month has a few extra dollars on it and you want to thank Donald Trump for that. That's where this young man has got it twisted. And that's where Paul Ryan and the rest of them have it twisted. Just because these little peanuts they're throwing you makes you forget about the millions and billions of dollars that they are making.
Right.
Look, peanuts, billions. Peanuts. Down here, that's what they're giving us.
Yeah.
Peanuts. Anybody that's making less than what, $50,000
something
a
like
year?
that. Yeah.
Peanuts, crumbs,
Right.
billions. That's what they're making.
Yeah.
So, it's evident that this man in this little video clip, this little boy, bless him heart, he may not have no guidance or direction to understand how these things work. But I'm telling you right now, because most of our listeners do live in, poverty level is what the government considers us.
Yeah.
You live below the bar. And when that happens, in your mind, you're trying to juggle finances and you see this little help, you see this little money, and you start thinking, Donald Trump helped me. No. Donald Trump helped himself.
Right.
Because with that little peanuts that they're giving you to distract you, they are making billions.
Right.
Okay? So that's all I wanted to add to the shock report.
All right. Excuse me. One last thing.
Mm-hmm.
The boy said that these little jobs might not mean anything to you, Jay-Z, but they mean something to other people. Again, you missed the point.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about the jobs. It was about how people are treated.
That's right.
And that's where you have to be. You have to understand that. Yes, jobs mean something to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to work. Everybody needs to make money. Regardless, if you're a rapper, that's your job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You just make more money.
Yeah.
Some of them. Not all of them. 'Cause
Not all of them.
we got some rolling around Kansas City, ain't done nothing. But they got their
Years.
face on the van.
In years.
So, but the truth is, you're going to have to just grow more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that we're trying to come down on you because you're young and what you said, but we're trying, what we want you to do is understand that your idea of Donald Trump is colored by something. I don't know what it is, but it's a misunderstanding. And I'm not a Jay-Z person, but he does know about poverty. He did some things to get out of poverty.
Right.
And that a lot of our brothers and sisters do. He's just lucky he didn't get locked up.
That's it. That's exactly it.
But, trust me when I say, we remember from whence we came. Okay, that's done. I'm done with the shock report. Because that shocked my heart. So, next.
All right. So, we did want to talk to you, listeners, today about violence in the LGBT community. It's not just words when we say that the rise of hate crimes has been going up ever since the election of Donald Trump. And I know people on the left and on the right, and the conservative media say, oh, that's hogwash, hate crimes are always hate crimes. What about black on black crime?
What about white on white crime?
They're quick to throw those things out there. But I did a little research, and I just wanted to pay homage, for one, to some of our sisters that have gone on, crossed over, if you will. And I want to bring attention to the fact that the violence level has increased.
Yeah.
I remember 10, 15 years ago when I was still clubbing, and you would go out and there was an act of violence against somebody in the community. Usually it had stemmed from one or two things. Usually it was either a trans person who was mistakenly, thought to be somebody that they weren't, and then there was violence against them, or it had something to do with the outside community attacking us in a different way. I remember going down to the bar Soki's, and we'd be out there after the club closed, taking our time, going to our cars, saying our goodbyes, and people would ride down the street and yell names, stuff like that, but the level of violence against those in our community has ratcheted up to a level that is just truly unbearable. Everybody wants to talk about how great our country is, and we live in the greatest country in the world, but now we see the tides turning, that we are becoming like some of these third world countries. If you go to some places where LGBT people are not welcome, you know, you literally have to fear for your life from the moment you get off the plane. If you're with a partner, if you're with someone, don't be with a group of people, you know, that are LGBT. You know, we have warning lists for us when it comes to travel. But now some of these things are happening right inside our own United States.
Yeah.
So I just want to pay. I got a article from the Huffington Post. The date was December. It was from December of last year, and it was talking about 4 different lesbians that had died. The first young lady's name was Kalada Crowell. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Kalada Crowell. She was 36 years old, a caseworker in Florida. There was gunshots outside her apartment. Somebody reported to the police. They came to her home, found her 11-year-old daughter outside, shot. Came into her home, found that she was shot and killed. Now, luckily, her daughter survived her gunshot wounds, but her mother did not survive. And that was the first one that they listed in this article about a violent, death of a black lesbian in Florida. The second one is Shanta Myers and her partner Brandy Mells. Shanta Myers was 36 years old. Her partner was 22. They had 2 children. Now, this tragic event found, and I hate to give you the gory details, but their feet were bound and their throats were slit. And on January 5th, they indicted 2 suspects. And they basically charged them with not only homicide, but robbery and whatever. This woman was 30, what was she, 36, her partner 22. The robbery. Really? You know what I mean? They were targeted. I know that they were targeted because of their sexuality. And then the last person is Carice Lewis in Washington, D.C. This young lady was found inside her vehicle. The vehicle was set on fire. They found out that she was shot multiple times, and she was still alive when they set the fire.
Yeah.
And she was engulfed by the fire.
Yeah.
So the problem here is not just violence, which in itself is a problem, but the ratcheting up of the type of violence that LGBT people are being attacked for.
Yeah.
And, you can walk around with your head in the sand and say that 45 has nothing to do with this. But I always give the same analogy. It's kind of like, you may be a very clean, neat person. You wash yourself, you wash your clothes, you take care of your appearance and everything. Then you go to somebody's house that is just trashed. Smells like urine, smells like feces when you walk in. They got trash and dirt everywhere. And then the longer you're in that environment, you're like, well, they don't care about their house. I might as well trash it too.
Right.
And that's how I feel sometimes that his supporters are kind of like, as they ratchet up and as the rhetoric gets stronger and louder and more violent towards anybody that they don't like, it's kind of like, well, I'm going to go in here and do what I want to do and say what I want to say because he did it. But what you don't understand is he got a lot of money and a lot of people backing him trying to protect him.
Right.
You don't.
No.
Not that would change anybody's mind from doing something violent.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, these people are out here literally touting Donald Trump is the reason.
Yeah.
You can see clips all over YouTube of people going off on these racist rants on Hispanic people, on black people, on whatever group of people Jewish people.
Right.
People they don't like, and it's like they do all this, and I guess they believe that because he's president, he's supposed to write them a check and get them out of jail, or...
Well, he did say that stuff.
He said it at his rally.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said it at his rally. So, I mean, we've got this to contend with as a community, and a discussion has to be had.
Yeah.
You know, of what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Keep losing people that we love to violence? Or are we going to actually start to take some turns to fight back against this? Because you can't change these people. These are the hardened, right core, right wing people that have been here and have been here for centuries. We're not going to change these people. We're not going to, sitting down and singing Kumbaya is not going to get these people to murder innocent people. It's not going to stop them.
No.
What's going to stop them is that we have to start voting. We have to put in people in place that are going to change laws and legislations. Everything that Trump has done has tried to keep people from taking responsibility for their actions.
Mm-hmm.
They have actively tried to use our community as a target to say that we don't deserve the same enjoyments and freedoms that other people do. Yeah. We just recently lost is Brownback to the religious freedom.
Oh God!
He left his post here in Missouri.
International. No, Sam Brownback was governor of Kansas.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's left his position here to go be this religious freedom.
It's an international
or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? When did that come? When did we ever have that?
They started that because they want to use religious freedom as a way to discriminate against us.
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah, they're actively making up things that are going to harm us in the future. And if you think these lesbians' deaths, are bad or tragic, they're going to find every little loophole and way they can to excuse these people.
Yeah, they are.
So that's what they're working on. So I just want you to be aware.
The one thing that I want to talk about was the young man that got killed, Blaze Bernstein, Bernstein, I don't know how they pronounce it. But the thing that I want just our listeners to be aware of, there are people out there who are hiding. They're hiding their sexuality. This young man, he was 19, and I guess this guy was his friend. But apparently, according to text that he had sent to his other friends, the Blaze said he was gonna, he was told him not to tell anybody that he was coming on to him, But Blaze had already texted it, and he was like, the cute little thing that, So when people are hiding, especially guys, when guys are hiding, and they're telling you don't say anything. This is where a lot of the murders come from. A lot of the murders against trans women, especially. These guys who are masculine, I think they said this dude was neo-Nazi too.
They did say that.
So you got to be careful when they're telling you don't say anything. Leave them alone, because one, they're not secure in who they are. And they will get rid of you. They will. Because I can't let people know that I like dudes. I can't. And I will do whatever necessary. And if we haven't learned that from all these ministers and politicians, you better start learning. And it's sad that we lost this young man. He was a promising pre-med student. But they're out there, they don't know. And they need mentors.
Yes.
Because they don't know. And they think it's a cute thing. And it's not. These are real people they're dealing with real emotions. And some of them just have a real hard time with who they are.
Yes.
So, okay, that's all I want to say.
And the segue leads into, speaking of church, the last part of our segment today. I know it was a while back. I'm late on stuff. I'm sorry. But a while back, people were making videos, and they were telling their stories through writing it out on paper and just showing cards. And Are we allowed to talk about our group?
Yes, we are.
So we have recently joined with a group of people called Whosoever. It's about this group of people is primarily, in my mind, you correct me if I'm wrong or add to it, please.
Okay.
But I met with this young woman who is a pastor in the Kansas City area, and I met her at our Gay Pride. Excuse me. And we got to talking, and then the three of us got to talking about why so many people in Kansas City, and not just gay people, or LGBT people, but people in general, are having such a hard time going to church. Don't want to go to church anymore, you know. And we talked in other podcasts about church and church hurt and things like that. But she had the foresight and the wisdom to kind of push forward and initiate this group, which we call Whosoever, a community of faith. And the faith stands for acronym of finding answers in the hurt.
Yep.
And most of us, as we begin to share and tell our stories, find out that we have very familiar church hurt stories.
Yeah.
A lot of LGBT people have a lot of church hurt stories.
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult for you on your spiritual journey to try to reconcile, oh, well, I'm gay or lesbian or bi or trans, and then try to go to this church that sees you as basically the devil incarnate.
Right.
So what do? You know, am I going to go to church? I'm not going to go to church. Am I going to subject myself to some abuses so that I can still praise God, or do I not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you see, and there's nothing wrong with this. We welcome all people of all nationalities, all faiths, all colors, because this church hurt transcends all things.
Yeah.
It transcends sexuality, color, nationality. I mean, just church hurt. People abusing the positions in the church and abusing God, using God as a way to get their own agenda across or to fill seats. You know, so because of that, I did a poll on Facebook for just some of my friends on Facebook, and I'm not going to name absolutely anybody's name. I would never do that. But what I did was I came up with some cards, and we're just going to show these until the end of the show. Okay. And just to let people know, one, Whosoever is welcoming for you. If you have church hurt, if you've been hurt by or abused by your church, you're welcome to come to us, and we just get together. We are non-traditional. The group is open to all faiths, all people, all walks of life. Doesn't matter what your specific church hurt is, you are welcome where we are. Yeah. And I'm sure Spiritual Stud here will add a link to the page eventually. We'll get there.
I'll talk to the leader and make sure that's okay.
Yeah, we got to make sure, because we are trying to provide a safe space.
Right.
So, I'm not trying to be funny, but we don't want anybody in there that would bring any type of drama or hurt, further hurt.
Right.
So they're a little selective, okay, and that's a good thing.
Right.
But anyway, I'm just going to close out with the poll that I did on Facebook, and I just simply asked people to tell me in a short answer why they left their church. Now, I have a very, very diverse group of friends. I've got friends that are everything from Christian Catholics to atheists, black, white, and everything in between.
Yep. Yeah.
So I got a very good sample of what the reasons were why people left their church. And I just would like for you to contemplate on these things, these answers, as we close out our podcast today. So I'll start with one, and then Spiritual Stud will do one.
thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being patient with us as we get back on track after all this illness. I hope that everyone is keeping themselves healthy. This flu is no joke. Be careful. Wash your hands. Cover your mouths. All the things that they say do. So, anything else? All right. I'm Spiritual Stud.
And I am MT, baby.
We're out of here. Peace.